And this is the mineral quartz, and we wanted to just talk about the nature of quartz crystals. So sometimes you'll just see sort of a mass of quartz. It doesn't look very special or distinctive, but quartz also likes to grow in these long prismatic crystals. And it really doesn't matter the size. One thing you can do is the angles between the crystal faces when it grows is pretty constant. So it doesn't matter whether it's a tiny little crystal or a really big crystal. Those angles are always going to be the same. If you look at the end of the crystals, it doesn't look like much. It's sort of a hackly pattern. It's pretty much looking like a mass of quartz. And that's because if you smash this beautiful crystal, it doesn't really have any cleavage planes to it. You'll get an irregular fracture to it. Sometimes there's a curved conchoidal fracture in the quartz, and you can see that too. As always, an easy test for quartz is just get your glass plate, scratch along it, and it's one of the harder minerals. It's going to scratch through your glass plate. That'll help you identify it. And of course, the other quartz would do that too. A mineral you might confuse it with a little bit would be calcite, but calcite's not very hard. It's not going to scratch the glass plate. It's just powdering on the glass plate. And then if you had an acid bottle, you could always test the calcite with a quartz bottle. One last thing with the quartz crystals, sometimes you'll see it in a mineral and it'll look dark in color, something like that. And that's just because there's no light getting mixed into it. So that's the basics of a quartz crystal.
Hello everybody, Plasma Health here. We are making a video today about how to make a copper spiral. And this copper spiral has some specific properties. This one I have already made, as you can see. The turning of the copper is clockwise, which means it draws the energy in from this side and pulls it out on that side. If we would turn it around and use it like that, it will do the opposite. It will bring it in here and put it out there. I'm going to show you how to make this. It's fairly simple, and what I've done already is I've taken some measurements, and what we do is we use a 39.3 centimeters, which is a cubit length, or in inches it's 15.5 inch. This is for the American audience and the English audience who want to make it as well, of course. The stripping is the first part. I'll put it flat on the table. I have this little cutting knife. I put my hand on it, make sure it doesn't slide off, and I strip it like this in one go. I'll take the tip off, turn it off, and here I have one copper wire. I will do this one more time so you can see. I will do a little variation. So now instead of putting my finger on it, I'm holding both. I'm putting my knife here, and now I'm pulling the wire underneath the knife. There you go. Stripping it again. This piece has not been done, but if you just pull it, it comes off pretty easy. Hoppa. I do have the experience that if you do this 20 times, your fingers will get a bit sore, but hey, we make plasma stuff, so then we heal it very fast after we got some pain. Isn't that amazing? Okay, here I have two who are going to be transformed into this. I'm going to use this plier. It does not have any grip on the inside, so you will not damage the copper. And the tip is fairly small. Why that is important, I will show you. What we need to do is we need to get half of the copper wire. You can do that either with your eye, like make an estimate about here, or if you want to make sure it's exactly the same, I put a little mark here so I can put it down, and then I know that this is the middle. Okay, I'm gonna start with the first action now. It's in my right hand, copper wire is in the middle. I'm gonna put it close to the tip because then you'll make sure that the inside of the spiral is gonna be a small turn. I'm gonna fold it over to the other side. And now, as you can see, it's not completely the same because I had to make a turn here, which is the difference you see here. Okay. Now I'm going to take it out. I'm going to turn it around so it's on my left side. I do that because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you might want to do it the other way around. I got it fairly tight now, and I'm going to bend the lower one down. I'm going to bend the upper one over the lower one. So now we got the first turn. I'm going to spin this around and keep going with this until I have my first turn. And here you can see that the start of the center of the spiral is made. I'm going to do it a bit more, and I'm going to do the rest by hand. I will do a second one and show you how to do it with your pliers if your fingers are not that strong. Now I'm going to turn this around so I've got both of them on the right side. I'm going to hold this tight here in the middle, and I'm going to bend this over the other one, and this one the same. You can't see it because I'm using my fingers to make sure that it stays on the other copper wire, so the spiral is going to be tight. I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to continue with this. This is a wire which is 2.5 millimeters square, which is pretty thick. So if you just started practicing this, look for a 1.5 millimeter square wire, which is a bit thinner and it's easier to bend. So now we have the spiral quite round. It looks good. And I'm going to use my plier to make the copper wire in the end go outside. We feel it brings in and transports energy better that way. That's why we do this. And here we go. I'm going to cut the tips a bit to make sure they're equal. And here you go, clockwise or anti-clockwise. Now let me do the same one again, a bit quicker, and I'm going to do it with the plier so you can see how to do that. I'm going to do it on the eye, so not measuring exactly the half. So you will see you can work with that. Well, I've got exactly the same distance now, so my eyes are good. Turning it around, putting it on the tip, holding it now, bending the lower one underneath, the other one over it on top. Keep bending until they're round. Now we got a good start. I'm going to hold it here. I'm going to start with the lower one. I'm going to bend them and turn the plier as I'm going around. You will notice when you do this that the effect of the spiral is more tight. The wire is going to be more tightly connected to each other. I'm having a bit more difficulties with this one because I never do it with the plier, I always do it with the hands. And it's a mess. Well, copper is great, because you can always work with that. I'm just going to continue. It's also nice to see when something is not working really well, so you can see how much you can mess it up and how you can control it again. I'm going to finish the last part with my hand because this one needs to make a full turn. There you go. There you go. Turn around again. We're getting to the end. Making the ends flat a bit. I'm gonna bend it again. That's one. This is the other. Cut it. And correcting it a bit where necessary. And there you go. Spiral number 3. 8 more to go. Good luck with it, and thanks for watching.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to my video on how to make an earth pipe. This is by far the strongest orgone tool that I have found to protect the earth. Okay? You're gonna want to get a 12-foot pipe. You're gonna want to put some masking tape, at least 3 pieces at the bottom. I actually only put 1. Let me hurry up and fix that real quick. Okay. And you can also watch how I do this. Alright, just put it on the bottom like that. 2. You want to make sure it's taped up real good, because if you don't, the resin will leak out the bottom. So I put at least 3. At least 3 on the bottom of the pipe, okay? Now next, I'm going to show you how to do the coil. I have a 15-inch copper piece of wire here, okay? I have a regular little highlighter pen. I'm just going to grab it and start twisting around it. Actually, I want to do it this way. Okay, so you just start twisting it. Twist it. Twist it. Twist it. Twist it. Twist it. And then when I get to about that far, I stop. I take it off. So this is what it looks like. I took it off. Now I start twisting it by hand. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I start just rolling it like this by hand. And what I try to do is make it get a little bit bigger each time I go around. A little bit bigger each time I go around. A little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. And then I grab my little pliers and fix it, bend it up a little bit, correct it, fix the ends. Okay. And you want to make sure that it's not big enough, too big, where it won't fit into the pipe. But there you go. I have this copper coil here. Just make sure it fits. This is what it looks like. Hopefully it'll look a little better now, but I just kind of did that real quick. So, we did that. Our next step here, okay, it's about 8 ounces of resin in there. We're gonna go ahead and mix our black iron oxide in there. Let me get my spoon. I don't know what happened to my spoon. Well, I can't find my spoon right now, so I'm just gonna have to pour it in there. But for this, about this amount, I'm gonna probably put like, I would say about 6 teaspoons. You want to put about 6 teaspoons in there. You want it to be nice and black and thick. And make sure you have a lot in there. Okay. And put a little bit more. So I want to have a lot in there. Okay. So 6 heaping teaspoons. I'm talking about heaping, full. If you're going to use it about 8 ounces. You want it to be nice and black and dark. Okay. All right, so black iron oxide's in there. Next, we're gonna add our quartz sand. I get this from Home Depot. It's $4 for a bag of quartz sand. It's premium play sand, and it is it's 99% quartz. I'll show you here, so you can see real close. It's 99% quartz, crushed up quartz. That's all that is. 99% quartz, okay? So you want to usually, when you're mixing the sand, you want to do it progressively. You want to be mixing and stirring at the same time, but since I have to hold this camera, I can't do that. All right, so I'm getting a tripod soon, so my videos are going to be a lot better. My last tripod broke. All right. And usually you want to mix about double. So if you're using 8 ounces of resin, you want to add at least 8 ounces of sand. What I like to do is just pour it to the point where I notice it's starting to get real thick, but not so thick that I can't pour it. I wouldn't be able to pour it out of the container. You still want to be able to pour it. Okay. All right. So as you can see, that's a nice consistency. That's perfect. Okay. Now just give me a moment while I stir this up real good. You always want to make sure you give it a real good stir. Get all that black iron oxide from the bottom, from out of there. That likes to settle at the bottom. And mix all the sand, and I'm gonna put a little bit more black iron oxide just for good measure in there. Okay. All right. Now, last but not least, our hardener. It's a real hot day like this right now. I shouldn't need that much. I think I put about that much hardener. Alright. Give that a nice good mix in there. Okay. All right. That's a nice consistency. Now, it's pretty simple from here on out. You take this. Now this is going to be a challenge. Pouring and filming. See if I can do it. That's spilling too much. Alright, not bad. So you want to do about halfway. Oh, it looks like I did a little bit more halfway, but that's okay. Then take your coil, drop your coil upside down in there. Like that. Drop it in there upside down. Okay? So you can pat it down and it will make the coil start going down further in there. I like to have it at least in the middle of the pipe. It's good for me. Okay, so that's in there. Now, I have over here, I have some crushed up black tourmaline and selenite. So let's go ahead and add some of that in there. Go ahead and add this in there. And you can put whatever extra gemstones you want in here. Amethyst, whatever you want. Garnet, hematite. Hematite really makes it strong. Lodestone, magnetite, all that good stuff. You can add whatever you want in here, it'll just make it stronger. But just with the quartz stand, it's amazing. Okay. So let's pop this off in there. Finish it off. Alright, done. There we go. So, one tip I can give you, always let your orgone cure in the sun. The energy from the sun comes down into the orgone. It absorbs it and it charges it. It makes the orgone about 10 times stronger than doing it without sun. I highly recommend doing it in the sun and leaving it out in the sun to cure. And then you just hammer these into the ground. I'll make another video later on how you put it in the ground. But you're gonna need a, let me show you. You're gonna need a 4-pound sledgehammer like this to put it in the ground. And trust me, when you do, oh my God, you're gonna see something so incredibly beautiful and special. Oh, and another thing I forgot to leave out, you can write what your intentions are. Like here I put protect and heal the earth, and then I wrote love and light on this side. But always remember, when you're gifting, after you make your orgone, while you're making it, what have you, at least right before you gift it, tell it what you want it to do. Protect the earth from chemtrails. Protect and heal the earth. Protect the earth from negative energy and negative beings and negative entities. You know, get creative, whatever you think would help the earth and what the earth needs and what everybody needs right now. But that's so important to put that intention on there, because it's going to do what you ask of it. So whatever you ask, you're going to get it. If you just put it in the ground, it's just kind of like turning negative energy into positive energy and within its radius, but it could do so much more if you just told it what you want it to do. Alright, that's my little video on how to make an earth pipe. This is the most powerful earth pipe I've made so far, is this right here. Enjoy. Okay, see, I got them all loaded up with quartz crystal. Okay, now I'm gonna go, we're gonna put some aluminum shavings in it. I want to show everybody that what I basically do is go to a machine shop, which is in every local city. Everybody has a machine shop, and they have, usually they're just throwing this stuff away, and usually I'll just make some pendants or something for them, something pretty, and I'll give it to them for free. And in turn, you know, they let me have these, and you don't have to give them anything. You can just go over there and ask them for it, because I mean, all they're doing is storing it away. So it's a good place to get free shavings. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna load these bad boys up with some shavings. All right. And you usually want to do it all the way about to 1/3 to the top. And the smaller the pieces, the better. Orgone works better with smaller pieces. So we're just kind of chunking them in there, you know. I'm sorry, I know this isn't the best video job in the world, but I'm doing this solo, so it's kind of hard to do this and shoot the camera at the same time. You know, I saw on the YouTube, there's not that many people making videos on how to make this, so I figured I need to do this, because more videos on how to make this stuff gets out there, more people are going to be involved, protecting their communities, protecting yourself from tornadoes, And but as you can see, I got my aluminum in there, I got my crystals, my copper. I'm just about ready to pour. Alright, so I put some resin in here. Now, you're gonna have to follow your instructions. So I have it like where this is like half a tray, and for about half a tray, I use, I think it's like one, let me see what it says here. It's probably a quarter, not even a quarter, let me see. I can't read it. It's 1 DRAMS. But as you can see, that's how much I use for half a tray. Pour it in there. Okay. Then we're gonna mix it up. And I've begun pouring. I usually just pour like half, give it a minute to go down, then I pour the other half. See how this one I poured it, and go do the rest of it. This one, pour half, come back, pour half of it, come back on this one, pour half of it. Okay, come back over here, pour the other half. Okay, see this one I missed a little bit. Let me go back and add some on that one. And last but not least, voila. Let it all go down. And I'll show you one of the more important things that you're going to want to do. This one is grab you a piece of copper wire. Okay. So I have a piece of copper wire here, and you just kind of get in there and move everything around a little bit so that the resin gets to the bottom real good. So if you don't do that, then like when it dries up, the front of it won't look the way you want it to look. So you just kind of want to just move it around a little bit, shake things up a little bit, get that resin to get down in there, you know. Then you can put everything back in there right and push stuff back down in there. And so we're gonna move this one around, lift it up. There we go. Get it all nice down in there. Move it around in there. It's crucial to get all that resin and stuff down at the bottom, because if it doesn't, they don't come out looking good. And you want them to look as nice as possible, and you want it to be sealed up. You know, you don't want it to be a whole bunch of cracks on the top of them. You want everything to look right. Okay, so, and I'm doing this outdoors, which is good because this stuff starts fuming up right about now, and you want to do it outdoors. That's my highest recommendation. If you're doing it indoors, you're gonna want a mask. I really don't use a mask when I'm outdoors. Alright, so this one here earlier, you can just move it around. Alright, so go ahead and do the rest. Alright, so what we're going to do now, I got my hands kind of dirty here, so I'm trying not to get my camera dirty, but it's going to happen so well. So we're going to come back and knock these out. Okay. And when you're mixing this stuff and using something to mix it with, I just recycle. I got this Gatorade cup. I get these from the Home Depot, little wooden sticks. Stuff you just want to throw away because it gets real sticky and nasty, and there's no reason using nice stuff that you might use in your house that's going to end up getting trashed. So I think I didn't. I don't think I got enough, so oh well. I think I might have to just get a little bit more. This will be done. Thought I had enough, but you never know. This might be enough. Sometimes I surprise myself. Yeah, I think we're alright. Thought we were gonna need a little bit more, but it's looking right. I'm gonna get this back in there and get some of this in there. And get some of this in there. Yeah, I surprised myself. I did it exactly right. So, alright, so then we grab our copper wire. We want to make sure we get everything nice and mixed up in here. Get it moved around. Because we want it to go nice and deep in there. Alright. Let's move it on around. Let's move it up and down. Get it all there nice and... There we go. Yeah, because if you don't do this, you don't mix it up in there, you get cracks and stuff on the top of it. So this is important. I'm just going to lift it up. Get everything in there. Alright, so yeah, this one, definitely I'll lift this one up. Get it all in there. This has challenged me. You don't have nobody helping you to film. I mean, I wish it would come out a lot nicer, but that's just how it is. You do it on your own. But oh man, put this one here. All right, so. So, I think I'm going to come back in a little bit, but that's pretty much it. You see, I'm done here, and I'll show you what it looks like when they're finished. Alright, so when you're done, and you get something looking like this, toss these around in the woods, water, everywhere in your area, and you're going to have this. If your weather doesn't look like this, that's because you're what we call harped up. You're all harped up. You're all chemtrailed up. See that sun? My body's getting to your body needs that vitamin K. You gotta have vitamin K. If you don't have that, you get cancer and all kinds of stuff. That's what they're trying to do with the chemtrails, blocking the sun. No vitamin K for your body, then you're breathing in all those carcinogens. What do you expect? Check it out.
Okay, don't know how this is going to turn out, but we set up the cloudbuster, and about how many hours ago? I'm not sure. And you really can't see anything because it's dark. And we're out here partying a little bit and trying to make it rain for the 4th of July. It's 9:35. 2.5 hours ago, we set this thing up at 14 hertz, pumping through this. And the weatherman said that there's no chance of rain. But I'm picking up thunder and lightning and lots of cloud cover. Alright, you can't see it. But I'll let you know what's going on tomorrow. Okay, it's 5:45 a.m. July 3rd. And it rained last night. I knew it was going to rain because I couldn't get my window to roll up. So I had to put garbage bags on it, drag. My seat's wet. But as you can see, there is signs of moisture everywhere. And it has a lot to do with this unit right here. Okay. I just made this yesterday and I couldn't wait to try it out. The base I didn't even get to weigh. But let's just say it's heavy as hell. And I've been running a 14 hertz signal through it for about 10 hours or so. Pipe length is considerably shorter than it ought to be. It should be 8 inches higher. But you could look at the clouds around here and things are starting to subside. The rain's over with, but last night we had thunder boomers. We had rain coming down, and the weatherman said, no chance of rain. Well, here it is at 5:41 a.m., July 3rd. And we just had a night full of rain. Alright, I set this thing up at about 6 o'clock, pumping through solfeggio frequencies. Didn't seem to do much. So I got the frequency generator from the cloudbuster, hooked it up to this by way of this wire right here, going to an amp. Of course, I have it turned off. You can't see it. Trust me, it was on. And it was really kicking out about 14 hertz from about 7 o'clock till about 5 o'clock this morning. Hear that? One massive front just moved through, and you just now stop hearing the rumble of that thunder. It's been thundering and lightning all night long. And the weatherman said, not a chance of rain. Not a chance of rain for 2 days. July 3rd, July 4th is going to be beautiful, not a chance of rain. Well, I'd just like to document that we had a chance of rain. You can tell by all the signs everywhere. The wetness of the car. The wetness of the grass. Just the wetness everywhere. The wetness on that thing. And I'd say the test has been pretty much a success. Who knows what could happen if we just put longer extensions on this pipe. As it is, it's only about 4 feet tall. It should be considerably higher than that. And we'll do some more tests, but as far as I'm concerned, I'd say this sucker works on steroids. Much, much bigger than something I've made before. Cascading densities, primarily powdered metals. Cats like it. And for now, I think this test has been a success. Try phase 2 later on. Okay, there's the pipes for the cloudbuster. Here's the rain. You know, I'm kind of impressed. The weather map says that we're not going to get any rain
Yeah,
today.
the weather map doesn't feel as hot here right now.
You know, and I love it. There's my car, because the window won't go up. I figure it had to rain.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. You know, wash your car, it's going to rain. Your window breaks, it's going to rain.
It's gonna rain, yeah. I can't
Well-
get my window up, it's gonna rain.
It looks like it's going to do this till 11 o'clock. That's my guesstimate. And now the weatherman changes his tune. He says we're going to have thunderstorms and rain all week long. Well, I'm going to put a stop to that too.
No,
Just
they
thought
keep
I'd
it
let
going
you
for
know.
Monday.
Well, we're going to have rain on Monday, the
That's
4th of
tomorrow,
July.
Yeah.
You know, if I can't have any fun, neither could anybody else.